Leaving home is something I have done many times, but every time I leave, it still feels a little different. My father helped me carry my things to the bus. He checks the bags carefully, as if I might forget something important. Sometimes he does not say much. He simply carries the food, looks at me, and makes sure I am ready to go. When I return to the city, I will eat alone in my small rented room. The food will be simple, but it will still taste like home. And with my little cat beside me, I will begin another quiet day of living alone. Hello everyone, my name is Duan. I am 22 years old and I live alone in a small rented room in Vietnam. I grew up in the mountains of northwestern Vietnam. Today, I am leaving my family home again and returning to the city. I have done this many times, but every time I leave, it still feels difficult. I did not leave because I stopped loving my family. I left because I wanted to become independent, find more opportunities, and build a life of my own. But living alone has taught me that becoming independent does not mean forgetting where I come from. It means carrying the love of home with me, even when I am far away. My family home is in a quiet mountain area. Life there is simple, but it is never truly empty. There is always something happening. Someone is preparing food. Someone is cleaning. Someone is working outside. The animals are moving around, and the kitchen is filled with familiar sounds. At home, I know the sounds around me. I know when my father is walking outside. I know when food is being prepared. I know the feeling of sitting down for a meal without having to think too much about anything. When I was living with my family, I rarely thought about these things. I did not think about who prepared the food. I did not think about how much time it took. I simply sat down and ate because there was always someone taking care of me. At that time, I thought it was just normal life. Now that I live alone, I understand that those ordinary moments were a kind of love. My parents did not always express their feelings with many words. They showed their care through food, through reminders, and through the small things they did every day. Before I leave, my father prepares food for me to take back to the city. It may look like a simple bag of food, but for me, it carries something much more valuable. It carries the feeling of being cared for. It reminds me that even though I am living far away, I am still part of this family. There are many reasons people leave their hometowns. Some people leave to study. Some leave to find work. Some want to experience a different life. And some leave because they want to become independent. For me, it is a combination of all these things. I wanted to see what life would be like outside my hometown. I wanted to learn how to make my own decisions. I wanted to find opportunities and slowly build a future for myself. I also wanted to know whether I could take care of my own life. At home, I was surrounded by familiar people and familiar routines. In the city, everything depends on me. If I am hungry, I have to cook. If the room is messy, I have to clean it. If I am worried, I have to find a way to calm myself. Nobody is waiting in the next room to ask whether I have eaten. Nobody is preparing a meal for me at the end of a long day. At first, this kind of life was difficult. Sometimes I missed home so much that I wanted to return immediately. But I knew that if I never left, I would never know what I was capable of. Leaving home does not always mean that we are unhappy there. Sometimes we leave because we love our family, but we also need to grow. Sometimes we need to go far away before we understand how important home really is. The journey from the mountains to the city is familiar to me now. I have traveled these roads many times, but I still notice different things each time. The mountain roads slowly become wider. The quiet villages become busier towns. Then, little by little, the city appears, the landscape changes, the sounds change, and I begin to feel that I am leaving one part of my life and returning to another. At home, my days move slowly. In the city, people seem to be in a hurry. There are more cars, more buildings, and more people, but sometimes, despite being surrounded by so many people, I feel more alone. This is one of the strange things about city life. You can be surrounded by people and still miss one familiar voice. You can live in a busy neighborhood and still return to a very quiet room. When I open the door to my room, there is not much space inside. It is only a small rented room, but it has become my home. I arrange my clothes, my cooking things, and the food my parents prepared. Then I see my little cat. Its presence makes the room feel warmer. My cat cannot ask me how my day was. It cannot understand all the things I worry about. But when it comes close to me, the room no longer feels completely empty. Sometimes, a small presence can bring a lot of comfort. Living alone has taught me that independence is not always exciting. Sometimes, independence is washing dishes when you are tired. It is cleaning the room even when you want to rest. It is planning your money carefully. It is preparing foods when you do not feel like cooking. It is waking up and continuing your day even when nobody is there to encourage you. There are days when I feel proud of myself. There are also days when I feel tired and uncertain. I sometimes ask myself whether I am moving in the right direction. I do not know what the future will look like. I do not know how long I will live in the city. I do not know what kind of work or home I will have in the future. But I believe that growing up is not about having every answer. It is about continuing to move forward, even when the path is not completely clear. Little by little, I am learning. I am learning how to manage my time. I am learning how to look after my health. I am learning how to live with uncertainty. And I am learning that a simple life can still contain many important feelings. When I unpack the foods from home, I suddenly feel closer to my family. The room is still small. The city is still noisy outside. But something from the mountain has followed me here. The food reminds me of my parents. It reminds me of the kitchen at home and of the people who prepared everything before I left. Perhaps food made by family always has a special flavor that cannot be recreated. It is not only because of the ingredients, it is because of the memories connected to it. When I eat this food, I remember sitting with my family. I remember ordinary conversations. I remember the feeling of not having to worry about everything by myself. At home, food is often connected to togetherness. In the city, I eat alone. The table is small, the room is quiet. There is no long conversation. But even when I eat alone, the food reminds me that I am not completely separated from home. The people I love are still present in small ways. They are in the foods I eat. They are in the habits they taught me. They are in the way I take care of myself. They are in the memories I carry into every new place. Sometimes that is more than enough. My little cat also becomes part of this new life. When I return home, it is there. When I cook, it stays nearby. When I clean, it watches me. Sometimes it plays, sometimes it sleeps, sometimes it simply sits beside me. These moments are very ordinary, but they make my days feel softer. When you live alone, even a small companion can make a difference. A cat waiting in the room, a warm meal, a message from home, a familiar song. These things may seem small to someone else, but they can become very important when you are far away from your family. Maybe taking care of something small is also a quiet way of taking care of myself. When I prepare food for my cat or clean its space, I am reminded to be patient. Not everything in life needs to be solved immediately. Some things simply need time. I used to think that leaving home meant becoming completely independent, but now I understand that nobody becomes independent alone. We carry the help, advice, and love of other people with us. My family gave me a place to begin. They taught me many simple things. They taught me how to work, how to be responsible, and how to continue even when life is difficult. Now I am trying to use those lessons in my own life. I may live alone in the city, but the way I cook, the way I save food, and the way I care for my cat are all connected to the life I had at home. So perhaps leaving home does not mean leaving everything behind. Perhaps it means taking the important parts with you: a bag of food, a quiet goodbye, a father helping with your things, the memory of a family meal, the feeling of being loved, even from far away. There are still moments when I miss my hometown deeply. I miss the mountains, I miss the quieter mornings, I miss hearing familiar voices around the house, I miss the feeling of knowing exactly where I belong. But I also know that this life in the city is part of my journey. I left home because I wanted to become stronger. Not stronger in a dramatic way, just strong enough to face ordinary responsibilities by myself. Strong enough to continue when I feel uncertain. Strong enough to appreciate my family without depending on them for everything. Living alone has not made life perfect, but it has helped me understand myself better. It has shown me that loneliness and independence can exist together. It has shown me that a small room can still become a home. And it has shown me that even a simple meal can hold the memory of an entire family. I do not know what the future will look like, but for now, I will continue moving forwards one day at a time. I will keep learning how to live alone. I will keep preparing simple meals. I will keep taking care of my little cat, and I will return home whenever I can. Because leaving home does not mean forgetting where I came from. It means carrying that place with me while I try to become someone new. Sometimes, the simplest moments become the most memorable parts of the day. A father carrying a bag, a quiet journey from the mountains, a meal eaten alone in a small room, a cat sitting beside me, food prepared by my parents. These moments may not look special to everyone, but to me, they are reminders that my life is connected to something deeper. I may be living alone in the city, but I am still surrounded by the love that raised me, and perhaps that is what makes it possible for me to keep going. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. I hope this quiet story made you feel a little closer to life in Vietnam and to the simple feelings we sometimes carry silently. I will see you in the next one.